This is going to be the most valuable video you've ever watched and ever will watch when it comes to starting and scaling your AI agency, because I'm going to be showing you absolutely everything, as you can see here. Let's take a look at what we're going to be going through. Firstly, phase one is laying the foundation, everything you need to start if you're starting from scratch. And look, depending on where you are in your journey, you can skip to certain points in this video that apply to your situation. But let's say you're starting fresh, or really if you're under the 10, 15K month mark, you're going to want to watch this whole video all the way through. If you're above that, then you might want to skip to certain parts in this video, like the sales, the acquisition, the fulfillment, the onboarding, all that sort of stuff. But first is phase one, laying the foundation. Two, it's crafting the offer and the assets. Phase three is the lead generation machine. Phase four is closing and fulfillment. And phase five is scaling and building the machine. And we're going to be covering our entire client onboarding process, what that looks like. As you can see, that's pretty hefty. We're going to be breaking down exactly how we run ad campaigns, quite literally covering everything. So when I say this is going to be the most valuable video you've ever seen for starting and scaling your AI agency, I'm not joking. And all of these systems are exactly what we've used over the last about 14 months here to collect over $500,000. We're pushing that 600K mark, but over $500,000 collected so far. I've done a 3K today, nothing crazy, but $500,000 so far. And we're going to be showing you everything. So let's get right into it. So first things first is laying the foundation. And what does this actually mean? It's quite self-explanatory. It's literally the foundational aspects that we're going to be building. Everything we do from beyond this point is built on top of this, which is why it's the foundation, right? When you're building a house, everything is built on the foundation. Same way in the business, everything is built on these: the core offer, the niche, and the pricing framework. So when it comes to your core offer, what do you primarily want to sell? It's going to be the voice AI, right? In your AI agency, you can offer other sort of AI tools and that sort of stuff, maybe lead gen, those types of things. But in this video, I'm just covering the voice AI because I don't want to talk too much about you running ads for businesses. You can do that; it does work great. But I'm going to take this approach as if you're starting from zero. If lead gen is a skill that you have, or training sales teams is a skill that you have, incorporate that. But I'm going to be focusing on the voice AI side of things. Everything else, the marketing, the sales, the fulfillment, all that sort of stuff, regardless of what your offer is, still holds true. But we're going to be focusing on the voice AI side because that's where you can make the most money. So select your core offer. What are you going to offer? AI appointment setters, AI lead qualifiers, AI client onboarding assistants, AI customer support agents, AI reactivation campaigns. Those are all great options. You can also bundle those together depending on the niche you're going after and whatnot. But these all encompass what is your AI infrastructure, right? People always throw the word AI infrastructure around. What does that actually mean? It's what the AI agents are that you're selling, right? Multiple AI agents together, one AI agent together is still kind of an AI infrastructure, but it's kind of one agent, right? And so the biggest one that you'll see the most businesses want is the AI appointment setter. AI lead qualifier is also great. These can almost be the same one sometimes. And then also the second one is the customer support agent. You'll also see some reactivation campaigns as well, but it does depend on your niche, right? And so AI appointment setter is the biggest one. You'll see that all the time, but this is what your core offer is. So don't focus on this too much, but these will all go hand in hand because depending on what niche you go after will depend on what you're going to want to offer them, right? Because what is the problem that they need solved? Now, when it comes to picking your niche and ideal avatar, there's a few main things you want to keep in mind. One is the industry itself, right? The niche, whatever you want to call it. Here are some good examples. Home service. That's what I think is personally the hottest one to go after right now. Home service is amazing. Roofers, fencers, deck builders, landscapers, home renovation, plumbers, electricians, all of these are amazing. HVAC, those are really hot right now because you can make them a ton of money. They're super good people to work with for the most part. They're usually blue collar, so they're not tech people. They don't really want to touch the AI. They just want you to build it for them and get them more appointments and more money. They're hard workers, so they want the money and they know that AI is huge. They just don't know how to use it. So they're great to go after. Home service businesses. Real estate's also great. Marketing agencies is great. Coaches are great because they're all appointment based. Medical clinics, med spas, they're all appointment based. Insurance companies, all appointment based. So these are all huge industries to go after, and they're all very, very good as long as you have the system set up afterwards. Now, the company size, how many employees do you want to go after? How many leads do you want them to be generating per day? Because that makes a big difference. Is it 100 leads a day versus 2 leads a day? 100 leads a day is going to benefit way more because they're having that all fully automated, right? How much revenue do you want them to be making? How much profit do you want them to be making? Which is even more important. We like to go after businesses doing $500,000 to $10 million a year because after, when you consider their profit margins, they're probably profiting minimum 20K a month if they're doing 50K rev, or maybe even 15K a month, 15, 20K a month if they're doing 50K a month rev. But if they're doing 10 million a year, then they're probably profiting anywhere from like 1 million to 5 million a year, right? On the high side. And so, they have the money to invest in something like this. And now, what pain points do you want to solve for? Because this, depending on the pain point you're solving for, will depend on what agents you're going to offer them specifically, right? Now, the pain points: speed to lead, huge, 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 because 70 or 78% of leads go with the business, I believe, and quote, we have this in our VSL, so you may think I'm pulling the stat out of nowhere, but it's 78% of leads work with the business that responds to them first. Because if a business thinks that their leads are only opting into their ads, they're out of their mind. These leads are opting into all sorts of ads. If they're looking for HVAC, they're opting into a bunch of different HVAC ads. Whichever business reaches out to them first, they're calling. Missed calls, huge, right? A lot of these home service businesses specifically, they're working, they have their phone on them, they're in the middle of a job, they can't answer the phone when somebody calls. And so having the AI be able to handle that and book the appointment in, huge. Slow sales process, AI take care of that, speed that up. Bad lead follow-up system, the AI follows up with all their leads automatically. Or you can even have a single agent that kind of does all of these, right? Or two agents can replace all of that. And so that's your AI infrastructure. And depending on your niche, that's what you're going to offer them. Now, pricing frameworks. There's two main things, right? The use case and the pricing. So the use case, we already kind of covered this: appointment booking, lead qualification, customer service, follow-ups. Those are the big four. Everything that you offer kind of falls into one of these, right? Pricing. How do you want to structure this? Upfront payments, monthly retainers. So upfront payment would be just they pay you upfront before you even start the job. Monthly retainer is a monthly payment. Revenue share is a percentage. So if you're getting 10% revenue share, you make the business 100,000, they pay you 10,000 per appointment. Maybe you charge $50 per appointment. You generate them, you get them, 100 appointments a month. You make $5,000. So what I think is the best, the sweet spot, as you can see, I call it, is a large upfront payment plus small monthly retainer. So anywhere from 5 to 10K upfront, and anywhere from 500 to 1,000 a month, or 1,500 a month, 2,000 a month, depends on the agents, right? And so I'll give you an idea here. I just spoke to a business today. They're pretty big. They're doing about $1 million a month and with about 60% profit margin. So they're very, very good business. And I pitched them, they're going to want multiple agents. They want to start with one. I pitched them on 5,500 up front and 500 a month. Now, if they want another agent, it'll probably be another 3,500 a month or 4K a month, and then another 500 a month. And they said they could potentially want 3 agents total. So total for this deal would probably be anywhere about 13 to 14K and about 1,500 a month. That's a very solid deal. And those are the ones I like the best because I don't want to do revenue share. I don't want to do per appointment because I don't want to be chasing these guys down to try to get a percentage that they owe me and stuff like that. And large upfront payment is great because I don't want 1,000 upfront or 2,000 upfront. And I also like a monthly retainer because I don't want just an upfront payment because then I will have to keep chasing closes. I want some monthly recurring revenue from it. So that's the best pricing model. That's what I think you should do. So that's phase one, laying the foundation. You have to select your core offer, pick your ideal niche avatar, and then set up your pricing framework, ideally in the sweet spot. So now let's move over to phase two. You have your niche selected. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to imagine that I picked home service, right? Specifically roofers, let's say, for example. And I'm going to be charging a large upfront payment and a monthly retainer. And that's what I'm going to be doing, primarily offering them appointment booking services, all right? So that's what we're going to kind of keep in mind when I set examples for this video. Now, phase two, you have that selected, your niche, all that sort of stuff. We're going after roofers, and we're selling appointment booking for a large upfront payment and a small monthly retainer to manage and upkeep the service. So in phase two, crafting your offer and assets. Create this irresistible offer, right? So I'm selling to roofers. What is my irresistible offer going to be? Sell the outcome. Double your booked appointments without hiring sales reps. That's a juicy offer. If I go to a roofer and I say, hey, I can double your booked appointments without you hiring another sales rep. Come on, that's pretty appealing. And the bonus is rapid seamless setup, AI personalization, free support for 30 days, stuff like that, where I can say a bonus can almost be done for you as well, even because of course it's going to be done for you, right? I'll say double your booked appointments without hiring sales reps, and it'll be completely done for you, so you don't even need to lift a finger. And if it doesn't perform, we will optimize it for free until it does. That's a pretty damn good offer. Calling roofers, if you're struggling to book appointments, or if you're struggling to call all your leads, or if you can't handle the leads that are flowing into your business, I will double your booked appointments without you hiring any sales reps, and I will completely do this done for you, so you don't need to lift a single finger. And if it doesn't perform, we will optimize it for completely free until it does. Boom, irresistible offer. Let's move on. Now, build your core infrastructure. When it comes to your core infrastructure, this is a lot, right? There's a lot of stuff involved in this. We're going to talk about some of this stuff in more detail as we progress, but I just want to give a quick overview. There's the funnel, go high level, booking automations, nurturing sequences, and ad setup. So realistically, all of these here are inside of Go High Level. The ad setup's the only one that's separate inside of Facebook. So the funnel, this is what our funnel is going to look like. We're going to have an opt-in page, which is going to look like this here. Opt-in page, boom. Book 10 times more appointments, inspections, and jobs on complete autopilot with our AI agents. Boom, we have a VSL. That's the VSL page. Then we have a qualification page. What this qualification page looks like is this here. Making sure that they qualify for a certain metric that we want to make sure that they're reaching. Does your business make at least 15K a month? If they do, then they can progress to the next page to book. If they don't, they're kicked out of the funnel. Now they get sent to a booking page. What's the booking page look like? Right here. And this is where they book their call. It's a calendar, right? There's a couple basic calendar questions on here, asking them their revenue, how much they have to invest into a job like this, why they want it, what they wanted to do specifically, all that sort of stuff. The last page is the thank you page. And the thank you page is very important for making sure that they show up, because booking appointments is great, but if they don't show up, it's useless. So the booking page, or the thank you page, this is what it looks like, right? So the main components, the first page was the VSL, right? Video sales letter on that page to sell them and get them to want to book. The qualification to filter out the unqualified prospects, the calendar for them to book onto the calendar, now the thank you page for them to show up. Now we make them watch this quick 93-second video of me here. If you guys want to copy this, try not to copy it word for word, but you can go to this URL here. This is our thank you page. You can see my video. And as you can see, this is me thanking them for booking and telling them to do these 3 things: watching this video, confirming their invitation, because this is super important. Show up rate goes up a ton when they click yes on this invitation, and then watching this video. This is our VSL again for making sure they watch it. And then that's the funnel. Now, when it comes to go high level, you want to have a couple things: the pipelines, tags, tracking, and primarily the workflows, booking automations, nurturing sequences. Pipelines. What are the pipelines? The pipelines are a couple things where we keep prospects organized. I'm not going to show you our pipeline because we have a lot of people's information in there, but it's pretty straightforward. You have like we have a lead pipeline and a booking pipeline. The lead pipeline keeps track of their lead journey from the point they opt in to follow-ups from our team to the point they book. And when they book, they get added to the booking pipeline. And inside of there, we keep track of everything post-booking, things that can happen, like the booked call, they booked a follow-up, they no-showed, they canceled, they weren't qualified, they closed, they didn't close, we lost the deal. Those are the different outcomes from a booked call. We keep track of all of those inside of there. And then based on those, triggers different automations. So in the lead pipeline, it's nurturing automations, right? Because we're nurturing the leads, we want them to book a call. And so to do that, to make them book a call, we have email flows, we have SMS flows, and we have the AI calling these leads. The emails, of course, we're sending them things like testimonials, things like good copy to sell them to want to book, our via sell again, YouTube videos, anything that can make them know, like, and trust us more than they did before. Same with the SMS. We're just keeping them going. We're hitting all channels: SMS, phone calls, emails. SMS, super important. Again, we're nurturing them, trying to get them to book in. AI call triggers, very straightforward. Again, we have an AI call them, and I'll actually show you guys what our AI call looks like. And so what we keep doing here is the AI calls them, they're getting SMS and their emails. This never ends. They're doing this forever as long as they're in our leads. And then let's say one of these automations hits them and they're like, you know what, I am gonna book a call. They book and then they get the booking automations. We're sending them more testimonials, we're sending them more content, more YouTube, and they're gonna get email and text reminders leading up to the call. Email and text to confirm the appointment, 24 hours before, 3 hours before, 1 hour before, 15 minutes before. Copy that. That's why our show up rate is about 87%. Because we have all this in place, the thank you page, the booking automations, the reminders, everything, that leads to a high show up rate. All right, now the ads. When it comes to the ads, there's a couple things we can do with this, right? There's different ways you can set up these ads. I'm going to tell you the best way right now, the quickest way if you have no experience. One is the AI demo. Very straightforward. I'll show you that right here. When we're setting up the AI demo, it's very straightforward. You're taking a recording of the call. You're going to speak to the AI. You're going to take a recording and you're going to take it, download it, come into Veed, Veed.io. It's a free software. You can't pay for it. You'll get a few free that you can make. And what you're going to do is create a demo that looks, holy, those are old videos right there, is a demo that looks like this. So as you can see, this is an example of a demo creative where we're showcasing the AI. We're showing what it can do.
Listen,
right here.
You need to stop calling this number. This is
Boom. That's a demo. Now, there's another way that we can run these ads, and that is in a software called ArcAds. And what ArcAds is a software you can create AI UGC content. And so it's very, very powerful because you can have talking head videos, but they're fully AI. And so it becomes pretty impressive what you can do with it, especially when you're targeting home service. I'm going to show you what our UGC ads look like because we're targeting home service as well for our ads. So you'll see what they look like here. We picked 2 attractive AI girls. I don't know if I can say that these AI are attractive, maybe, but I think I'm on the wrong browser there. Yeah. Okay. So you'll see what these look like here, but they're actually doing very well. We're getting like $6, $7 leads right now. And, I'll have to check exactly what the cost per booked appointment is, but that's also in a very good range. I believe it was about 50, 60 bucks. So here's one of them, for example. I'll show you this.
Are you a home service business owner still wasting time chasing leads in 2025? In the next 60 seconds, I'm going to show you how my team and I are helping over 100 contractors, plumbers, HVAC techs, and roofers book more jobs without ever picking up the phone using AI. More calls.
And so it's super easy. You can come in here, you can pick an actor, add an actor, write your script. It will create the video of your AI talking. Super effective. We're targeting blue collar men, so we picked young, attractive girls as the AIs, and those are doing very, very well. Now, if we come back over here, there's a few other things that are components of the ads, right? The copy, the primary text, the headlines. Primary text, use ChatGPT, very effective. Tell it that you are a Facebook ad copy specialist and I want you to write my ad copy for my ad. This is what I'm doing. This is my offer. This is who I'm targeting. This is the call to action. Write it. Boom. Give me 3 variations. It'll cook them up. Same with the headlines. And then the setup the pixel, very straightforward. You want to set up the pixels throughout your funnel to track different events. You want to take the pixel code from Facebook. When you create a pixel, it's actually a data set now. But you take that data set, you paste that into every page of your funnel and the overall funnel code in Go High Level. But for each page, you're going to have a different action that you're going to want to track. Page 1 is page view. The calendar page is lead, and the thank you page is booking, because the only way they're going to view your calendar page is if they opted in. The only way they're going to view your thank you page is if they booked. So when they view your thank you page, you want that to count as a booked call. When they view your calendar page, you want that to count as a lead. You're going to create custom dynamic audiences if you have them. If you have a lead list, if you have a large database of leads, of email addresses that you've built up over time, create a custom audience of it, create a lookalike audience of it, and run an ad set targeting it. So that is building the core infrastructure. Now, preparing lead magnets. These are also very good. You can run these as ads even, or if you have communities like we do, we have a large school community of like 11,000 people. So we put lead magnets in there and we convert people from there. Free VSL scripts, free AI calling scripts, free objection handling scripts, AI audit offer, free value equals conversions. The more free value you give, the more people will like, know, and trust you, and they will convert. So That is phase 2, creating the irresistible offer, build core infrastructures, and prepare lead magnets. So don't forget, for my demonstration, we're going after roofers, and I'm selling them. My offer is roofing companies that are struggling to call all their leads, double your booked appointments without hiring sales reps. I will do this completely done for you, so you don't need to lift a finger. And if it doesn't perform, we will optimize it for free until it does. We'll build all this infrastructure here that I just went over, and we'll prepare some lead magnets, right? Now, phase 3 is the lead generation machine, actually setting up these ads, what the lead journey looks like, all that sort of good stuff. Let's see. All right, we're about 20 minutes in here, moving at a solid pace. So the paid ads engine, we already kind of covered it. Demo UGC ads, ChatGPT primary text, ChatGPT headlines, target based on niche. And I'm going to break down what that campaign structure looks like in a second here. Retargeting setup as well, very good. Retargeting ads are super, super effective. And these are good if you have people who are viewing your ads and you want to retarget them. If you have a large Instagram page and a lot of people interacting with it, you can have ads shown specifically to the people who engage with your Instagram or Facebook page, people who specifically engage with YouTube videos, people who are in your custom audience or your lookalike audience, people who have engaged with past ads, all amazing ways to retarget people. And you obviously want to optimize for cost per qualified booked appointment. When you're talking about marketing, you don't want to talk about your close rate because that's the sales side, right? The marketing, the best metric you can look at is cost per qualified booked appointment, because your lead cost can be $2 a lead, but that doesn't matter if your cost per qualified booked appointment is very, very high. Same with your cost per booked appointment. That doesn't matter. Your cost per million impressions, your CPM, that doesn't matter. Your click-through rate, that doesn't matter if your cost per qualified booked appointment sucks. But if your cost per qualified booked appointment is amazing, all your other metrics can look bad on paper, but if your cost per qualified booked appointment is amazing, it's fine. So now, what does the full lead journey look like? From the point that your lead clicks on your ad, everything needs to be designed to get them to book a call, show up, and convert. So when they click the ad, they're getting sent to the VSL opt-in page. They're going to watch that VSL. The VSL is very, very important for 3 main things. 1, handling the main objections beforehand. 2, answering the main questions. And 3, making them want to buy more and know, like, and trust you more after they watch it than they did before. Now, when they watch the VSL, they'll click the booking button. They'll get sent to fill out a qualifying form. If they're disqualified, let's say for ours, for example, if they make less than $15K a month in their business, we send them to a disqualification page with a little video saying, hey, you don't qualify, or we just send them to our free school. If they do qualify, they get sent to our calendar booking slot. Then they book, they get a confirmation email, like I mentioned, confirmation text, and an immediate triage call from our triager. The triager calls them, does a little 5 to 15 minute sort of intro call, further qualifying them, making sure they meet the certain requirements, making sure they're an ideal prospect. They're financially qualified, they're time qualified, which means they want to get started now, and all decision makers are going to be on the call. And he gives them a rating 1 out of 4. If they're rated 1, he cancels them. If they're rated 2, 3, or 4, he submits this form and sends it, and this gets sent to our closer. So the closer has all this information going into the call, as you can see there. Now, when it comes to setting up the actual ad campaign, what does this look like here? So let's say, for example, we have our ad campaign. And inside of our ad campaign, we have 3 ad sets. Let's say we're just going home service and we don't know which section of home service to go after specifically. So we'll have our main ad campaign, that's a leads campaign. Then we'll have 3 ad sets inside of there. 1 targeting construction, 1 targeting home renovation, and 1 targeting roofer, just because we don't know which home service section to go after yet. And these will all be dynamic creative optimization turned on. And what that does is it allows you to mix and match multiple creatives, multiple copy, multiple primary text, multiple headlines, and see which one performs better. And Facebook will do all the testing by itself, and you'll be able to see the metrics. So for us to see which interest performs better between construction, home renovation, and roofers, we want to split test them, right, and see which one does better. But for us to know which one is actually performing better, we need all other variables in this situation to be the exact same. Because in any test, the only way we can attribute the success of the ad set to the actual interest targeting itself is if all the other variables in this situation are equal, right, across all of them. Or how do we know that another variable didn't impact the success rate, right? So we're going to create 5 creatives. Let's say we have 3 demo creatives and 2 ARCADS AI UGC creatives. Those 5 creatives will be the exact same in this ad set as this ad set and this ad set. Then primary text, let's say we have 3 different primary texts. These 3 will be the exact same as these 3 and the same as these 3. Same with the headlines. These will be the same as these and as these. Then CTA, the call to action, you always want it to be learn more. Now, let's say after 5 to 7 days of testing, we now have put probably about $500 into the ads, and we can now see which one's performing the best. So let's say roofers was the winner. So we're going to create a new campaign with our winners. Roofers was the winner. And then let's say out of the ad creatives, because you can check with dynamic creative optimization, see which creative individually got the best click-through rate, the best cost per lead, the best everything. And so let's say ad creative 2 is the winner. So we'll take ad creative 2 as the winner, put it in our new winning campaign with roofing as the interest targeting. And then let's say primary text was the winner. We'll take primary text 3. And let's say headline 2 is the winner. We'll take headline 2. Call to action, always learn more. We'll take all of these. We'll run out its own campaign using about 75-80% of our budget on this winning campaign. Then we'll use the other 20% to continue doing tests like this. That's how we run the ads. Now, when it comes to inbound plus outbound stacking, this is very straightforward. There's a few ways that you can do this, right? Inbound, there's only a couple. Paid ads, people are coming into you from the ad, and organic content, very powerful, but not immediate. things like YouTube, where you're posting value content, proof and testimonials, and building your personal brand. Those are the 3 types of content you want to post. I highly recommend starting content now. It's not going to be an immediate return, but there will be a return in the future. I promise you that if you don't stop. So there's 3 types of content. 1, value. Value content showing you know what you're doing, showing you can actually do what you're saying you can do, that you're actually credible. 2, proof and testimonials, showing that what you do works for you. You can be your own testimonial, and it worked for other people that you worked with that paid you for it. And number 3 is personal brand, just showing you're a human, showing you do things, outside of whatever it is you're offering, showing that you're a real person, right? Because that builds a lot of know, like, and trust. In terms of outbound, there's a few ways you can go about it. Manual DMs, cold emails, AI calls. Cold emails are great. Manual DMs are also great. AI calls are great, but it depends if your niche spends the time in those areas. If you're cold emailing home service businesses, it's probably not going to work too well because they don't really spend much time in their email. If you're DMing them or calling them, it will probably work better. Now, nurturing and retargeting. We already kind of spoke about this, but nurturing is super, super powerful. When leads come through from your ads, you want to be constantly hitting them with emails and texts every single day. We have the AI call leads 3 times within the first 3 hours when they opt in, and then twice a day daily for the next week. They're getting emails and texts for life. They're trapped in our system forever. No matter what, they either close or they tell us to fuck off, or they just get emails and texts for the rest of their life. Now, that is phase 3, the lead generation machine. Let's see, we're moving pretty solid through this. That's the lead generation machine. Now, let's move over to phase 4, which is closing and fulfillment. And so we are also going to talk about our onboarding process in a second here. So now I have somebody messaging me on WhatsApp there. I don't need that right now. Now, closing and fulfillment. There's 3 main parts. The sales process, ideally for a 1-call close, which is this right here. Fulfillment options, and client success and client delivery. All right, this guy needs to stop messaging me here. And I can't mute that for some reason. All right, now, so the 1-call process. So this is after the triage report that we mentioned where they give them a rating 1 to 4. This is after that because the triager is no longer involved. It's now the closer who will then, after they close the client, hand the client off to the client success manager or the solutions engineer. Now, so the closer will show up on the call with a full triage report, so they're ready to go. They're equipped with all the knowledge. They'll position themselves as the authority. They're going to speak confidently. They're going to speak with conviction. They're going to know what they're doing. Start of the call, you build rapport. Minute or 2. Hey, where are you from? Oh, cool. I've never been there before. I've heard it's great. Or, hey, I have been there before, actually. It was 5 years ago and it was an amazing trip, blah, blah, blah. Oh, like people for me, they see my jersey behind me, my Kobe jersey. It's an autographed Kobe jersey from when I was very young. That starts rapport, right? Oh, you like the Lakers? Oh, you like Kobe? Everybody likes Kobe. So it always builds rapport. Discovery, very, very important part of the call. You're going through all the important aspects of the call. Why are they on here? What made them want to book in the first place? What are they looking to do with the AI? Why are they looking to do it now versus a few months ago? What's the problem they're looking to have solved? How bad has the problem got to where now you're actually taking action on it versus before? What are you looking to have the desired outcome be when you do implement this? Why is it you're looking to do this now? How much money do you have to invest in this? What have you lost because you didn't take action on this sooner? Yada, yada, yada. Everything but their current situation, where they want to go, and how the AI can bridge the gap between those 2 places. The pitch, how you're going to implement the AI for their specific situation, what you're going to do, what that process is going to look like. Objection handle, if you really need to, you're going to have to objection handle depending, maybe it's a price related thing, maybe it's all this sort of stuff. And so let's say they, for example, they're like, oh, this is too much money. You're going to say, oh, okay. Well, money aside, would you do it? They'll be like, yes, I would do it. You say, why? Oh, because I'm going to get my time back and I won't need to deal with leads anymore. Okay, awesome. And so do you mind if I change the perspective a little bit for you here? Because I'm on your side, by the way. And so do you think the fact that you don't have the money for this is the problem or the symptom? And they're going to be like, oh, well, the problem. And I'm like, no, it's the symptom. Because if you had the AI booking you more appointments leading to more closes, more clients, you have more what? And they make more money. I'm like, okay. And so what happens if you continue to make decisions based off of the symptom instead of the actual problem itself? And they're like, oh, well, I'll probably stay where I am. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm really glad you said that because a lot of people wouldn't admit that. And so you're smart for saying that. And one good thing about where you're at right now is a lot of the businesses that you see that are in the position that you want your roofing business to be in, they were in this exact position as well. But do you think they acted on the symptom or the problem to get where they are now? They're like, oh, I bet they acted on the problem itself. I'm like, okay, and so if you want your business to get to that position as well, what are you going to need to do? Like, oh, well, I'm going to act on the problem. Like, okay, then what are you going to need to do to act on that problem? I need to take action. Like, okay, then what are you going to do right here and right now? Like, let's do it. That's how you handle an objection like that. Now, you close the deal, you collect the payment, you submit the sales report form. The sales report form is essentially the handoff. So like we mentioned before, the confirmation call form is where the triager hands off the prospect to the closer. The sales report form is where the closer hands off the prospect to the client success manager. So the sales report form is all the info about the close, how much they collected up front, how much of it's in installments, the revenue or the monthly recurring revenue, all that sort of stuff, and they hand it over to the CSM for onboarding. Now, let's see. So fulfillment options. I'll show you the onboarding process in a second here. It's very in-depth. Fulfillment options. There's 3 main fulfillment options. 1, you do it yourself. You kind of have to in the beginning unless you work with somebody like us. And if you want, you can click the link down below. We'll do all your fulfillments for you, but you can do it in the beginning. It's not scalable and you won't be able to do complex build unless you're a coder. Number 2, outsourcing. This is great. Fiverr, Upwork, it's fairly cheap, but it is risky because maybe somebody in Pakistan and you pay them a few $100 and they ghost you or they disappear or they don't do a great job in your fulfillment. You're going back and forth. Your client needs changes, all those sorts of things. Option 3 is a specialized fulfillment partner. That's like us, Inside AI. It's a seamless process. You don't have to touch it at all. It's repeatable and predictable. And I'll show you what that process looks like right here. So this is what our onboarding process looks like. I'll sprint through this real quick. So let's say I close the client. I close this roofing company, right? Agreement signed. He paid me this is what, like 9K US up front, 12,500 Canadian. I submit the sales report for him. And so this is a fake one here. I just made this before this video here, but I submit it. I close them, client name, client email, their phone number, how many agents they got, amount contracted, 4,500 a month, 4,000, payment structure, PIF and retainer, which is paid in full and then a monthly retainer. Closing angle, was it a hard close? Did I have to objection handle? Client's expectations, where did they find out about us? The ads. Perfect. When I submit this form, it triggers a zap, which sends this onboarding email to the client. This is what they're going to get. So it's going to say, hey, John, welcome to Inside AI. This email is designed to get you started as quickly as possible. Please take these immediate steps now. 1, fill out your onboarding form. Please fill out your onboarding form with the button below. We cannot serve you until you submit this form. So stop what you're doing and fill this out now so we can get started on your agent's build right away. Upon completion, you will be redirected to schedule your onboarding call with the solutions engineer. After you book your onboarding call, you'll be redirected to our walkthrough video, which will break down step by step what our process looks like for getting your build up and running as smoothly as possible. So please watch that as soon as you submit your onboarding form so you know exactly what to expect. Please enter this email. We tell them which email to fill out because we already have it on file and we don't want them to put in another email when you fill out your onboarding call. Step 2, check your inbox for access to our Discord channel. These will be in separate email. This will be in a separate email you should have received shortly after this one that will grant you access to where we will communicate back and forth. If you have any issues accessing them, please reply back to this email. See you soon, Jackson, Inside AI. Boom, they fill this out and then they fill out the form, which I'll show you right here, but they're also getting a welcome call from our team. So they're getting a welcome call pretty quickly. And what this welcome call is pretty much just saying, hey, welcome to Inside AI. It's a 30-second call, but this is huge because I don't want them to get buyer's remorse. I want them to be getting value immediately. So as soon as they close, they're filling out this onboarding form. They're saying, okay, these guys are legit. They know what they're doing. They're getting a welcome call. It's going to be from our CSM. He's going to call them and be like, hey, I hear you're doing amazing. My name's, for me, for example, let's say I was doing it. My name's Jackson. I'm going to be the one working with you, getting all your agents set up. The closer, let's say the closer was named John. John spoke to me and he said, this is the reason you started working with us, to automate your appointments. I can't wait to get these agents set up for you. And next time I see you, we'll be on our onboarding call. I can't wait to get this started. Let's crush it. Boom. Simple welcome call. Builds a ton of, almost emotional investment into the business, because the longer that this person waits in between the point that they get closed to the point they get onboarded, buyer's remorse fills up. They might want to think about a refund. Oh my God, what did I do? Why did I invest this much? We don't want them to be thinking that because we're here to help them. So we want to make sure they're getting value nonstop along the way. Then they're going to fill out the onboarding form. Inside of the onboarding form, they're going to be answering their name, their email, the phone number, and every single thing we possibly need to do their build. Their business name, their login info for the platform where we'll create their account. They're going to send us a script that they like, that they use, that their current team uses, or if they just want to give us an outline, we'll create the script for them. We're going to set up a template, or they need to give us Q&As they get all the time, common objections they face, all the things that we want the ad to be equipped with to handle on the call. How many agents did they purchase? What is each of them doing? How often do they want the ad to follow up? Explain their business if they're talking to a kid. Who's your niche target market? What is the main problems they face? What do you want your agents to do specifically? We ask them that again to make sure it's all aligned. And then any other info we should know, and they book their onboarding call. Then when they book their onboarding call, they get sent to watch our walkthrough video. This is a 5-minute video of me just setting the expectations. This is what's going to be happening. You're going to be doing this leading up to the call. And then this is what the call is going to look like. We're going to be building your agent. We're going to have our onboarding call. And then we're going to do live revisions with you, get access to the CRM. That's going to take about a 48-hour process from the point you complete the form to the time you get you onboarded. And then it's going to be time for us to integrate it, set up the follow-ups, the webhooks, everything like that. And we're going to hop on a final call and launch it with you. Just me walking through it so they know exactly what to expect and they're never in the dark. And then the onboarding form gets sent to our solutions engineer. All this information that they just submitted in this form, added to a Google Sheet, gets sent to our engineer in Discord. He gets pinged, solutions engineer, submitted their done for you fulfillment form. And then they have the onboarding initiation call. Then he builds the agent, builds the follow-up triggers, the integration, the webhooks, etc. Then after that's fully done, they have a launch call with the client to where they're doing last final revisions, make sure the client's fully happy with it, test it, try to break it. When the client fully approves it, we launch it. That's a smooth onboarding, which equals a happy client and a ton of referrals and endless money for you. That's how you want to set up your onboarding process. That's why we have such happy clients. Now, the final thing here in this process in phase 4 is delivering the client success. And so I just went over that with you, but I'm going to speed through it again. Payment, welcome email, onboarding form, welcome call, extensive questions for AI build, submit form, book onboarding call, solutions engineer reviews onboarding form, onboarding call, begin build and integration, extreme testing of the AI, launch call with client training, launch AI build. Boom. Now, I know we're going through a lot here. This is phase 5, build and scale the machine, or scale and build a machine. So when you really want to start scaling, like things like building your team, hiring people, automating the operations, scaling paid traffic, increasing MRR and LTV, phase 5 will probably come at about 25, 30K a month. That'll probably be when you really want to start. You'll probably want to hire people around 15K a month. But then really all this is probably from 15K a month to 30K a month and so on. Scaling really never stops. So when you're building the team, Triager, this is going to probably want to be your first hire. This is low cost, critical for high volume. You're going to want them calling your leads. Beautiful thing, we're selling voice AI. You can have an AI triager. It costs you almost nothing. Setter, a bit later down the line, but great for outbound scaling, messaging your leads over text, DMs. If you have leads messaging you on your Instagram account, all this sort of stuff, you have a setter to message them, book them in. You usually give a setter 5% commission on the deals that close that they set. Closer, commission based. You're going to pay a closer 10% commission typically for the deals they close. Now you're fully removed from the setting process and the closing process, and that's amazing. And so usually a closer is hard to get. A good closer will want to work with you when they know they can get paid. If a closer gets 10% commission, you're making 50K a month, the closer gets 5K a month. That's not super incentivizing for a good closer. So you usually want to get to about the 50 to 80K a month before you bring on a closer because they'll be incentivized. Engineer, super, super useful, can do client builds. We have our own engineers, which we do the builds for our clients, but eventually we want to place an engineer in their business so they don't need us anymore. Engineers, you can usually find commission or you can pay them a monthly salary. Really depends on the engineer. Then client success manager. They onboard your clients, they handle the client communication, they upsell them, all that sort of stuff. Client success manager, usually anywhere from like 2K on the low side to maybe 6 to 8K a month. A pretty expensive role, but very, very useful. And then automating the operations. So you want to automate the onboarding process, like what I showed you there. I'm never involved in the onboarding process. Our CSMs and our client success and our solutions engineer take care of it all. All I see is the payment come through from the close, and then the whole client gets fulfilled by the solutions engineer, and they launch the build. I'm not involved in it at all. Pre-build SOPs and training. SOPs are huge, very, very huge. I'm going to show you what one of our SOPs looks like so you can see how in-depth these actually are. So I'm going to show you, for example, our closer SOP. If we bring on a closer again, this is what they're going to be going through. And this is how much stuff they're going to see. Closer, hey growth consultants, this wiki page is a space dedicated to everything you'll need to succeed at Insight AI. Everything they could possibly need is inside of here. As you can see, Insight AI dashboard walkthrough, how to send service agreements, offer pricing, sales call recordings, how to accept payments, our funnel breakdown, your compensation structure, job-specific details and our duties and roles, how to schedule follow-ups, email proposals, walk through the roadmap, what tools do you need, objection handling, growth consultant, onboarding timeline, everything they could possibly need. This is a very in-depth SOP, and this is the playbook to train closers. We also have one, as you can see, for closers for our partner program, for triagers, client success, setters, and another triager one there. But yeah, those are playbooks, very, very useful. Having SOPs, you need them to scale. Because unless you want to completely train one person all the way through every single time, you need to have SOPs. And now, anytime, let's say we have a closer, if our closer has new things that they want to do, we tell them to add it to the playbook. So when we bring on a new closer, that playbook is compounding every time. Set up internal pipelines to track leads, the triage, the close, the onboard, the fulfill, success, the nurturing pipeline, the booking pipeline, client fulfillment pipeline, everything like that. Now, scaling paid traffic. Spend more on winning ads. If you have a 5x ROAS, which means you put $1 in, you're getting $5 out. You want to scale that in theory forever, right? Because if you put $1 million in, you'll get $5 million out. Of course, there will get to a point where you're getting diminishing returns, right? Because let's say you're spending $100,000 on ads. You might not be able to still get $500,000 out of it. Maybe you're getting $250,000 out of it, which is still solid. It's still essentially infinitely scalable, right? But there will get to a point where maybe you're putting in the next 10,000 you put in isn't generating you another 20,000. It's just generating you maybe 8,000, where you're actually losing money on that 10,000 itself. Diminishing returns. So, but you do want to continue scaling ads. Split test funnels, add YouTube ads potentially. You can add Google ads, add TikTok and other meta ads inside of there. You can really start scaling that up. You can, if you max out your niche, then you can branch out to other niches. Get to $1 million a year minimum with your niche, one channel, one product, one avatar. How to increase MRR and LTV. Now, when it comes to this, there's a couple of things you can do inside of here. Upsells, because the best people to make more money, increase your lifetime value, which is LTV, lifetime value, and monthly recurring revenue, is people that are already your clients. So upsells, if somebody's using 2 agents, let's say they have an appointment booker and a customer service agent, you can be like, hey, I see you're crushing, you're getting a ton of appointments, but you have, 20% don't show up. What if we built you an agent that got triggered to call all your no-shows and try to book them back in again for you? That's an upsell right there. Automations, marketing integrations, those are other upsells. Maintenance packages, you can add other sorts of things in there. Potentially you offer lead gen, all these types of things are offers, or done for you funnel, for example. All these types of stuff are different upsells, right? And cross-sells, potentially cross-sells. If a client asks about anything related to the service, give them a price, and if they want to pay, they'll do it. Like we had a guy who was like, hey, can you guys build my funnel and all my automations for me? And we were like, it's a pretty straightforward funnel. I can build funnels very, very quickly now. And so we were like, okay, $2,500 and we'll build this funnel for you and we'll set up these automations. He was like, okay, let's do it. Boom, done. Very straightforward. That's a cross sell. And referral program, to where if a client's satisfied, always ask them for a referral when they're happy, right? If you did something wrong, you don't ask for a referral. Let's say you just got them 50 booked appointments, for example, on a blast of calls. Then you're gonna be like, hey, do you think there's anybody else that that can benefit from this or want this? Give them like 10, 15% of the deal. If you close them for 10K, huck them $1,000 for the referral, and then you have a new client. And so that is phase 5, scale and build the machine. Let's quickly recap all of this real quick. So phase 1, laying the foundation. You select your core offer, you pick your niche and you set up your pricing framework, right? Roofers doing 100K a month, and I'm going to charge them upfront payment and a monthly retainer. Phase 2, create your irresistible offer. If you're a roofer who's struggling to call your leads, I'll double your booked appointment without you need to hire another sales rep. It'll be completely done for you, so you don't need to lift a finger. And if it doesn't perform, we will optimize it for free until it does. Build your core infrastructure, all the sales process. Lead magnets. Now, phase 3, your paid ads engine. How are you going to set up this campaign? You're going to test these out, find your winners, relaunch the winning campaign. The full lead journey, nurturing and retargeting, inbound and outbound stacking. Phase 4, closing and fulfillment. The whole sales process, the whole fulfillment process, the entire onboarding process. And then phase 5, scale and build the machine, building your team, the hiring pipeline, automate operations, scaling your traffic, increasing MRR and LTV. Guys, this is exactly what we implemented. I know it's a lot, but this is everything you could possibly need. And this is exactly what we did to make $500,000 so far. We're going to make another $1 million. I guarantee it, at least. And so if you don't implement this, we'll just keep implementing it and crushing it. I highly recommend you implement all this stuff as quick as you can, because this is how you can scale. I hope you got value out of this, and I'll see you in the next one.